Under the flickering lamplight of a Greek symposium, where shadows danced and laughter mingled with the sweet fragrance of wine, an ancient ritual unfolded. It wasn't grand speeches or philosophical debates that captivated the crowd. It was a simple splash and flick of the wrist. Here, among reclining guests on woven couches, kottabos took centre stage. Unassuming yet decisive, this drinking game could adorn one with social prestige, or leave them with an unwelcome tab. Amidst the clatter of bronze and the ripple of merriment, fortune swayed as readily as love's promise, turning a tavern gathering into a test of fate and finesse. Imagine the evening settling in after a lavish Greek feast, with the last bites of roasted lamb taken and the aroma of fresh bread fading into the night. The air buzzed with a renewed energy. The physical satisfaction from the meal shifted quickly to mental and social engagements. The Greeks called this transition the awakening of philia, the bond of friendship, when the symposion truly sparked to life. Guests, reclining comfortably on their couches, let go of their earlier culinary indulgence and embraced animated discourse, song, and the eager anticipation of games. These gatherings weren't just about feasting, they were about savouring the camaraderie that transformed the night into something unforgettable. Servants whisked away the remnants of dinner, making room for earthenware brimming with fragrant wines. Myrrh and oils blended with the heady scent of wine into an intoxicating perfume that thickened the air. Guests adorned in their finest, skin oiled for comfort, settled into couches woven from the finest silk. Laughter and conversation grew richer, moving to the rhythm of wines poured into waiting cups. It wasn't simply about drinking, but enriching the spirit and sharpening the wit, leading to the games where social dynamics found their playful stage. Within the symposion, the senses were ignited and alive. Melodies from a distant lyre wove through the hum of conversation. The flicker of candles cast dancing shadows, bringing the room to life. Participants became threads in a living tapestry of laughter, stories, and games. Art, music, and rhetoric flourished as vital elements, not just backdrops to wine, but co-authors of the evening story. Each clink of cups and light-hearted toast added to the symphony of the night. The mood ebbed and flowed with conversational tides, rising with laughter or gentle mockery as players took their shots in the game awaiting them. This was the symposion, a vivid tableau of sensory delight and social interaction. The symposion had roots deep within Greek tradition, a bridge between private leisure and public life. Wine was a transformative agent, loosening tongues while elevating dialogue, tearing away daytime formalities. It was the cradle of Greek philosophy, where Socrates and his peers pondered societies and souls with equal zest. This careful balance of revelry and reflection made the symposion a dual stage for high debate and delightfully surreal entertainment, where kottabos shone as both a novel amusement and a social necessity. Kottabos, with its intriguing blend of skill and luck, found a natural home in these gatherings. As soon as couches were arranged and craters filled, guests eagerly anticipated the ensuing rivalry. What began as innocent fun evolved into a staple of Athens' social elite evenings. The game was an unpredictable contest, an adrenal jolt of competition that magnified tensions and elevated stakes. Success at kottabos heralded charm and dexterity, attributes cherishing both in sport and society. Preparation for kottabos was as much a mental exercise as a physical one. Guests appraised one another with sly glances, calculating each other's skill and susceptibility. In their minds, a hope to dazzle, to make a memorable claim on the evening's tales. It was an early blend of skill and chance that mirrored the social dances performed in more sober settings. This required an ephemeral mastery, arm and drink in harmonious motion, a preparation of mind as much as body, uniting all to share in fate's whimsy. The moment of truth arrived with the first toss. As anticipation crackled through the air, each player poised to flick the dregs of wine. Observers' eyes followed the splash's arc. A successful hit transformed into a ringing clang, a sweet victory echoing through the hall. Cheers erupted, infusing the gathering with vitality. Even misses were moments of mirth, bonding those present with chuckles and teasing rivalry. Kottabos began as a game, but soon became a tale woven from triumphs and flubs, adding vibrant threads to the tapestry of the symposion. Though a hint of luck lay with each throw, the discerning players knew skill and strategy were vital. The throws were acts of precision and artistry, personal styles recounting more than whispers of technique. In some circles, kottabos was grave as athletics, emphasising a player's dramatics minus the Colosseum. Subtle gestures spoke volumes, a deft flick, a coy embrace of chance, all choreographed into a seamless social manoeuvre. Victories celebrated style and skill. With each toss, the knight's temperament mirrored the sweeping gesture of an arm. Here, social stakes felt as palpable as financial ones. Kottabos held currency more significant than mere amusement, where each mistake could have repercussions as serious as repaying the evening's wine bill. A hefty penalty among rivals turned friends. The stakes were set for a potential loss in wine and face. The cost of a misjudged toss added a dangerous allure to the atmosphere. Yet amidst this playful schism of winners and losers, bonds formed, a fraternity built on shared triumphs and humbling misses. Kottabos captured moments of camaraderie, transcending the playfield, knitting alliances and igniting rival banter, each touch of competition smoothing into the cohesive garment of friendship. As Kottabos faded, it remained a fragment of culture, reflecting the joys of competition, community, and performance entwined in Greek life. This was not a mere party trick, it was a testament to the blend of sacred and mundane, illustrating the enduring influence of honour, skill, and chance. As echoes of Greek symposia linger in modern gatherings, Kottabos stands a reminder of shared human love for competition, a forever bond with those once gathered in ancient halls. In the flickering glow of an ancient Greek gathering, where laughter mingled with the sweet aroma of spiced wine and smoke from the hearth, the game of kottabos was birthed from the cradle of symposion culture. This party ritual, a blend of revelry and rivalry, evolved alongside the art of Greek hospitality. It began modestly, as humble as the clay cups in which they drank, but slowly morphed into an elegant staple at aristocratic gatherings. As the Athenian symposion became a theatre for wit and poetry, so too did kottabos mirror this evolution, reflecting the society's love for both intellectual engagement and sensual indulgence. Kottabos was more than just throwing wine, it was a testament of one's charisma and dexterity, echoing the prowess of a skillful poet. The game demanded elegance, a kind of art akin to crafting a perfect lyre tune, or delivering a piercing philosophical insight. Stretching luxuriously on couches, participants would attempt to hurl the dregs of their wine across the room, their right hand wielding the cup with practiced ease and a watchful eye fixed on the target. The act itself was simple in concept, but to perfect it required a delicate dance of balance and precision, an exercise where the wrist flicked just so, sending the wine arcing towards its intended mark. As the clay cups clinked and voices mingled like a kaleidoscope of sounds, the thrill of kottabos was palpable. Players sought mastery over the tiny dregs, mindful of their cup's weight and the wine's thickness, adjusting each throw with a touch of intuition. Every successful toss was celebrated as a small victory. Every miss, another chance to laugh at oneself in good company. It was a game of nuanced skill and spontaneous joy, where each trial unfolded in sight of friends and foes alike, reinforcing bonds in the cosy confines of their gathering. Targets varied, with challenges ranging from simple saucers to elaborate setups with pivoting arms or resonant metal bowls. The room was a symphony of clinks and pings, filled with the sounds of success or the laughter that followed failure. Each innovative target demanded a different strategy, offering fresh intrigue with every throw. These variations lent the game a dynamic edge, ensuring that no two nights were ever the same, and keeping players on their toes, or rather on their couches, reclining as they were. The setting of the symposion was as important as the game itself. It was an arena of both social and intellectual exchange, a setting carefully crafted with cushions and couches, orchestrated by a symposiarch who guided the evening's flow. This lively tapestry of conversation, song and philosophical discourse set the stage for kottabos. Whether in grand city estates or intimate private rooms, the symposion was the heart of the evening. Here, under the soft glow of lamps, bonds were formed, and rivalries played out in the light-hearted manner that only a game could offer. Kottabos was never a solitary endeavour. It thrived in the company of fellow revellers, an eclectic assembly of friends and strangers, each adding their voice to the night's merry chorus. Every toss brought anticipation, rippling through the crowd with cheers or teasing jibes. The presence of musicians like the flute girl added a melodic counterpoint to the evening, encouraging spirits to soar higher with each successful throw. Underneath the joviality lay a ritualistic core. Each throw, a flirtatious nod to fortune, a whispered name, or a hopeful prayer for future romance. The game resonated beyond its immediate action, capturing the belief in signs and omens that was woven into the very fabric of Greek culture. Victory in kottabos brought more than applause. It carried the weight of social stakes, whether a wink from a sweetheart or a friendly wager won. Yet failure was met with laughter, reminders of the humility shared in the symposion's warmth. As readily as wine flowed, so did alliances shift and reputations were playfully forged or altered. While skill was celebrated, the evening belonged to fortune's fickle hand, highlighting the night's transient tides and mirroring life's unpredictable paths. Though the echoes of kottabos have long since faded, its legacy endures in the resonance of laughter and shared enjoyment. It is seen in modern games where skill meets chance, where camaraderie is forged in the crucible of playful competition. Anchored in an era when the world felt both vast and intimate, kottabos leaves a lasting impression, a reminder that in the midst of life's grand complexities, joy and spontaneity remain timeless companions. In the dimly lit rooms of ancient Greek symposia, where oil lamps cast flickering shadows, the game of kottabos captured the imagination and competitive spirit of its players. Guests reclined on plush couches, their eyes keenly fixed on the humble targets that transformed a simple drinking game into a spectacle of social prowess and skill. The earliest versions featured seemingly mundane saucers or small bowls perched upon stands. These unassuming vessels, though basic in design, demanded precision. A well-aimed flick of the wrist could send a spray of wine-dregs delicately kissing the edge of a saucer, coaxing it to teeter and tumble to the floor, ushering in a chorus of cheers or jeers. The choice of saucers was a practical one, common enough at any gathering, yet their fragile nature meant they often shattered, leaving a trail of broken porcelain in the wake of each misjudged throw. For the players, this challenge was more than a test of dexterity. It was an art form that demanded composure and practice. Imagine a spirited youth, goblet in hand, locking eyes with his target, perhaps with a teasing smirk playing at the corners of his lips. In those moments, the saucers were not merely serving dishes, but gateways to honour, turning everyday objects into symbols of triumph. As the game evolved, so too did the complexity of its targets. Pivoting arms were introduced, bridging the simplicity of saucers and the intricate mechanics that came to define kottabos. Here the stakes were higher, requiring players to strike metal structures carefully balanced for the occasion. A splash of wine that set these arms swinging gracefully brought renewed admiration, intensifying the challenge and adding a layer of theatrical flair to the gathering. The Greeks' appreciation for mechanical design turned these devices into a spectacle, enhancing the game's drama and adding a new level of competitive spirit to the evening's proceedings. Complexity took another leap with the introduction of plastinks, the balancing plates that brought an additional sensory dimension to kottabos. These polished discs stood as pristine targets, poised for the perfect strike. Upon impact, they would produce a satisfying clang, a sound that resonated like a gong, capturing attention and stirring the heart of the symposion. This auditory delight was more than a mere echo. It was music that marked victory or defeat, creating shared moments of suspense and joy. The slippery dance of the plastinks, balancing precariously, mirrored the high stakes of the players' social standing, turning the game into a beloved fixture for spectators and participants alike. But perhaps the most iconic of all was the simple yet formidable challenge of knocking a disc cleanly off a tall pole. Here was where kottabos distilled into its purest form, skill meeting simplicity in a singular test. Picture a grand room filled with eager eyes, all watching as a lone player attempted to dislodge the disc with nothing but precision and nerve. The stakes were as clear as the rules: strike the disc so precisely that it toppled, spiralling to the floor. It wasn't just about removing the disc, but doing so with such finesse that the act became a dance of brilliance. A dance that elevated the victor's status, whispering their name with reverence among their peers. The culmination of these adapted targets lay in the ringing metal basins, waiting to catch the tumbling discs. When a disc landed with a resounding peal, it was not just a point for the player, but a herald of triumph that resonated through the room. The echo was like a church bell, a clarion call that both acknowledged and celebrated the victor's skill. These basins were crafted with care, designed to capture the essence of kottabos' blend of art and sport, their melody turning each round into a retelling of wit and prowess. Behind these spectacles was the ingenious mechanics that made kottabos what it was. The careful balancing of arms and plates, the height of the poles, all were products of a curious blend of artistry and engineering. Greek artisans poured their skill into every detail, understanding that the game's allure lay in its ability to blend the technical with the spectacular. This ingenuity ensured the fluidity and fairness of each match, making each clang distinct, each toss a new chapter in the evening's unfolding story. Underneath the veneer of merriment lay the complex social dynamics kottabos cultivated. The hierarchy of success and failure reflected broader societal structures. An intricate dance where victories were as much about winning as they were about maintaining reputation and camaraderie. A triumph in kottabos wasn't just personal glory, it was social capital that fueled conversations, paved pathways in politics, and reinforced allegiances. In the echoes of kottabos we glimpse the essence of Greek life, the pursuit of harmony, competition laced with fellowship, and a profound connection to cultural rhythms. Though centuries have passed, the spirit of kottabos beats on in modern echoes, reminding us that amidst progress and change, the games of old continue to bind us all in a shared journey through laughter, skill, and the timeless dance of deft hands and resonant bronze. Picture yourself at a Greek symposion, the air thick with the scent of wine and the chatter of reclining guests. Amongst the clinking cups and playful banter lies a game that's much more than a simple pastime. Kottabos, while outwardly a test of dexterity and social amusement, held a deeper, mystical significance for its participants. This drinking game, seemingly trifling to the modern eye, was a doorway to divine whims, where a flick of the wrist might reveal one's fate or desires whispered to the gods. For the Greeks, life was a seamless tapestry, where the mundane interwove with the divine, and kottabos was no exception. The game was a vivid reflection of a worldview where the dregs of wine could indeed stir the cosmos. In this busy realm of clinking cups and echoes of laughter, participants flung their wine with deliberate intent, often naming their beloved before the toss. It wasn't just skill on display, but a yearning heart laid bare. Hitting the mark hinted at a sweet omen from the universe, perhaps a nudge from Cupid himself, suggesting that their affection might find a return. With every successful hit or tantalizing miss, kottabos transcended being a simple contest to become a public declaration of love and hopes, transforming it into an ancient romantic gesture. The game wasn't merely entertaining, it was a heartfelt performance where the outcome was eagerly watched by peers, each toss carrying whispers of love on a hopeful breeze. Within these lively gatherings, the stakes were real for those who dared. Winning could mean more than just applause. It promised a touch of cosmic endorsement, an ethereal nod that one's yearnings were noted beyond the earthly bounds. While victors basked in this divinely tinged glory, perhaps even imagining Aphrodite's blessing upon their venture, those who missed bore the sting of public defeat. Yet, ancient camaraderie softened this blow, with laughter spilling more easily from understanding lips than one's teasing failure. The missed targets and missteps were a reminder of fate's fickle game, with every toss and turn highlighting resilience over ridicule. In these scenes, love and luck mingled playfully, each cup tossed a gambit with destiny under watchful, twinkling eyes. But beyond feats of prowess, each toss was laden with symbolic weight, a minor ritual within a grander narrative of human endeavour against divine will. Every attempt was a small-scale drama where intent clashed with fate's fickle favour. More than mere sport, kottabos invited players to reenact that eternal struggle, engaging not just in social jest but in an age-old dance of agency and providence. This cultural symbolism extended beyond individual flicks. The shared acts of whining and tossing spun a collective tale through the night, an interwoven saga of aspirations, where individual fortunes blended into a broader symposion tapestry. With every toss, participants embraced life's unpredictability within the fraternity of wine-filled conversations and shared intentions. In the ancient Greek domain, wine was revered beyond an inebriant. It was a sacred, tangible link to the divine. Playing kottabos was not simply a game, but a sacred covenant with Dionysus, the god of revels, whose favour might sway the flight of wine mid-air. The flick of wine traversed the earthly to brush the celestial, crafting a brief span of connection between mortal hopes and divine decree. Every trajectory, errant or on target, carried the potential for divine dialogue, a flirtation where human hearts sought celestial counsel, making kottabos a social, spiritual engagement transcending its playful guise. In bouncing a lover's name off the evening air, kottabos echoed deeper stories from Greek folklore, where myths converged with morality and shared tradition. Every action at the symposion balanced personal desire against public bravado, each participant engaging in a cultural choreography that must reconcile individual intent with collective mythos. Winning and losing were less about divination and more about reaffirming one's place within the societal framework that revered courage, candour, and community. Love, ambition, and social standing interwove under the watchful eyes of peers, solidifying bonds more durable than bronze. Even as kottabos waned, its essence lingered, shaping how modern games intersect with skill, luck, and community spirit. Ghosts of kottabos tumble through the centuries, reflected in modern games that mimic that delicate dance between chance and camaraderie, a testament to how playful spirits endure over time. The tenacious roots of this ancient practice continue to nourish contemporary modes of interaction, with echoes of laughter and competition enduring through ages transformed. Kottabos, emblematic of Greek festivity, leaves a lingering note about humanity's timeless pursuit of love, chance, and connection. The game served as an enjoyable reflection of desire and fortune, within an embrace that transcended time, as the Greeks infused each toss with cosmic possibility and personal vision. As fires cooled and the symposion gave way to dawn, the record of shared laughter, soft whispers, and heartfelt exertions engraved itself in a tradition that honoured both divine presence and the euphoria of fellowship. Kottabos was more than a simple party game. It was a reflection of the social and cultural nuances of ancient Greece. Imagine reclining in a softly lit room, the air filled with the low hum of conversation and the notes of a lyre. At the centre, players prepared for the toss, a deft flick of the wrist, a movement that demanded more than mere strength. A successful kottabos toss required finesse, echoing the grace of a dancer's motion. It was a delicate balance of force, where too much would send the wine sailing astray, and too little would let gravity have its way, spilling the dregs over one's tunic. This precise calibration of movement mirrored the Greek ideals of moderation and control, emphasising the mastery over one's body and environment. In the fierce social arena of the Greek symposion, the ability to flick the wine just so was telling. A skilled player didn't merely demonstrate physical precision, but showcased their refinement and status within a competitive, aristocratic society. As in myriad facets of Greek life, from athletics to rhetoric, excellence in kottabos brought admiration and respect. But this game was not just about showing off physical dexterity. It was a performance blending skill with social acumen. Players with confidence and composure, able to toss wine with nonchalance and a witty remark, commanded the room's attention. It was as much about dry humour and sharp banter as it was about the toss itself. In this charged atmosphere, failure to perform could reveal, or at least be taken as, a lack of discipline or sophistication, leading to playful mockery or scorn. Participants thus engaged in a high-stakes dance, where a successful throw elevated their reputation, while a clumsy one briefly tarnished it. The social dynamics at play reflected larger Greek societal values, where public perception was continually shaped by both actions and words. But beyond skill and social standing, kottabos was an intricate tapestry of wit. The game was rife with verbal sparring, as participants teased and jested, weaving humour into the act. This saucy interplay added layers to the experience, making kottabos as much about camaraderie as skill. Often, players called out names of those they adored before their toss, turning each act into a playful public declaration wrapped in romance and jest. Here, verbal jests and witticisms serve to reveal a player's character and quick thinking, emphasising a cultural celebration of verbal agility alongside physical prowess. The symposion itself was a reflection of the hierarchically structured Greek society. These gatherings weren't just about drinking, they were elaborate displays of wealth and taste, featuring lush decorations and fine pottery. Kottabos fit perfectly into this setting, mirroring the complexity of the Greek social order. The performance art of this game strengthened social bonds and hierarchies, reinforcing one's place within them. Played amidst the laughter and music, success in kottabos brought prestige, and failure, though met with laughter, subtly underscored social boundaries. The presence of women, often as spectators or entertainers, weaved an added layer to the game. Women typically stood on the periphery, yet their reactions could subtly influence proceedings. These dynamics underscored existing gender norms while occasionally subverting them, reflecting broader societal tensions in the intimate setting of the symposion. Interestingly, as a game primarily indulged in by the elite, kottabos was not confined to aristocratic circles. In more humble settings, it was played in taverns or modest gatherings, albeit without the grandeur seen in wealthy symposia. The game, stripped of its ceremonial frills, retained its core essence, showing how cultural practices bridged social divides, remaining a shared source of leisure and community. A realm where skill met fortune, kottabos mirrored life itself, a mix of calculated expertise and unpredictability. The element of chance acted as an equaliser, adding tension and excitement, with each toss reflecting broader Greek themes of fate and destiny. It demonstrated an acceptance of life's uncertainties, whether gods or fate could alter paths, regardless of skill or status. Essentially a competitive affair, kottabos thrived on the spirit of rivalry and camaraderie. In Greek culture, competition was celebrated as a measure of character and excellence. In this light, kottabos became a microcosm of greater social interactions, a battle of physical dexterity, witty banter, and strategic thinking. Success inspired friendly rivalry, furthering communal bonds through shared enjoyment. Yet with real stakes tied to tavern tosses, losing could mean footing the bill for more wine, a gamble with tangible consequences. This element brought strategy into play, as participants weighed each toss's financial and social implications. As the rise of Roman influence brought new pastimes, kottabos gradually faded. However, its legacy endured, leaving an indelible mark on Greek cultural memory. While it began as a vibrant symbol of ancient revelry, flashes of its essence remained, influencing games and social practices that followed. Today, kottabos serves as a reminder of ancient games' role in reflecting cultural values, human nature, and our perennial love for skillfully manoeuvring between fate and chance. In the bustling ancient Greek symposia, where wine flowed as freely as conversation, the stakes of a game of kottabos extended beyond mere amusement. Imagine, if you will, a grand hall filled with distinguished guests reclining on plush couches, the heady aroma of fine wine mingling with laughter and animated chatter. Hear each flick of the wrist, that subtle, deliberate motion to launch the last drops of wine towards a distant target, carried a weight of consequence. Losing didn't just spell a minor embarrassment, it translated into financial strain and, more poignantly, a blot on one's social standing. Kottabos was far more than a mere pastime. It was a carefully balanced act of social prestige and a dance with fiscal peril. In the intimate setting of a symposium, where every attendee was a social equal, being singled out to buy the next round was nothing short of a spectacle, a visible crack in one's otherwise perfect facade of grace and success. In contrast to the refined atmosphere of a private gathering, the stakes shifted in the contrasting world of taverns. Here a cacophony of clinking cups and boisterous laughter painted a rougher scene, where a diverse mix of classes gathered under one roof. The game's outcome not only asserted dominance, but also exposed the sharp disparities in social strata, transforming an innocuous game into a cutthroat competition. Whether by strategy or chance, the selection of the bone-eyed payer was a tango of social manoeuvres. Some variations relied upon random selection or chance, akin to drawing straws, imbuing the outcome with an air of suspense and dread. Other versions offered no such mercy, instead hinging entirely on the choice of a victorious player. This deliberate selection reflected personal grudges, long-standing rivalries, or simply a playful yet biting exercise of power. In this manner, kottabos served as a pointed commentary on the arbitrary nature of society, where being favoured or ousted was often a matter of individual whims as much as it was of skill. The economics of wine further fueled the heated drama of losing. Wine, a staple of life but a luxury in certain circles, set harsh limits on those bound to pay an unwanted debt. Amphorae varied in price based on vintage, quality, and origin. Luxuries typically reserved for the more affluent. For the unfortunate soul tasked with footing the bill, this could mean a significant economic blow. Indeed, it turned a mere game into a potential life-altering moment, heightening the thrill and fear of each pivotal toss. Yet beyond its immediate stakes, kottabos lay embedded in a rich cultural tapestry. Games like these provided more than entertainment. They were integral social engines, microcosms where one's position could change in the blink of an eye through deftness, wit, or sheer caprice. They captured the nuances of Greek society, where individuals, while momentarily downcast, could demonstrate resilience and reclaim lost prestige. Losing gracefully, or failing desperately, could tip the balance of reputation, serving as a narrative arc of downfall and possible redemption. Underlying this was the Greek belief in luck and fate. A dance with destiny echoed in every haphazard splash of wine and every gambling flick of the wrist. Life, the Greeks thought, was a capricious mistress, and kottabos mirrored this belief, its outcomes caught between skill and the mercurial whims of fortune. Winning and losing in such games illustrated broader life lessons that resonated with Greek philosophies, a blend of reflection and revelry, all centred on the unpredictable hand of fate. Despite the passing centuries and the fading of individual accounts, the echoes of those who played kottabos live on in tantalising anecdotes and colourful histories. Stories of clever symposiarchs effortlessly manipulating the game's outcome offer insight into the cultural craft of cunning admired in Greek circles. These tales, where a victor drunk on triumph and wine chose the payee with audacious cheek, preserved the spirit of these evenings. Fun, irreverent, and vividly alive with the texture of human plays and missteps. Greek art immortalises these scenes in etched urns and vivid mosaics, capturing moments loaded with tension and vibrant with competition. Players are shown in acts of concentration and anticipation, taking their shots at fleeting fortune, a testament to the cultural significance the game held, rendering it immortal in art, an archive of experience blending play with the peril of significant consequence. The spirit of kottabos finds echoes today. Modern-day drinking games played in dorms and dim-lit rooms worldwide tap into the same rich blend of fun and risk, albeit in less impactful financial context. Despite these differences, the allure remains. Camaraderie woven with the thrill of challenge, a testament to our enduring fascination with the melding of play, skill, and chance. Kottabos may straddle the line between history and legacy, but its essence, a nuanced dance of chance, skill, and social jostling, remains as vibrant and relevant as ever. In the bustling world of ancient Greece, where the clink of cups and the notes of a lyre floated through the air of symposium halls, art captured the essence of life in motion. Among the myriad of scenes adorning pottery and frescoes, the depiction of kottabos games serves as a fascinating window into the societal norms and leisurely pursuits of the Greeks. These vivid artworks go beyond mere illustration. They act as historical documents, capturing the very soul of the symposion, a gathering where laughter mingled with philosophy and games of chance were played with as much earnestness as debates about the gods. The kottabos scenes etched into pottery were not isolated images of pastime, but reflections of the social fabric itself. They told tales of prowess and poise, depicted not just the act of flinging wine-dregs, but the social hierarchy and kinship woven into each gathering. In these artistic tales, class distinctions blur as everyone momentarily joins in the universal language of play, a reminder of the balancing act between disorder and decorum. Though respectable Greek women rarely partook in these symposia, their presence in the art reveals an irony. They were central to the male participants' imagination. Courtesans and muses appear, not mere onlookers, but as integral elements of the event's fabric. Their roles are as layered as the wines angularly flicked from cups. They could be simultaneously marginalised by reality and yet pivotal in the mythos created by men's minds. Through these artistic renditions, we glimpse at how women, heralded as muses or condemned as temptresses, coloured the symposion's proceedings. The presence of women in these depictions reveals the complexities of gender roles, a layered commentary on how societal traditions were reinforced yet questioned. Then there were the satyrs. These half-man, half-goat figures roam the pottery with an irrepressible mischievousness, embodying the untamed aspects of revelry. Their goatish grins and lively antics offered a bridge between the everyday and the ethereal. The inclusion of such mythical beings in scenes of kottabos added a fantastical flair, blurring the line between reality and myth in the vivid imaginations of the Greeks. As wine touched clay and myth touched the mundane, the satyrs reminded participants of the divine chaos that simmered beneath the surface of ordered culture. Artistry in these pieces didn't just capture the mechanics of a game, it captured the very thrill of the toss. Observers could almost hear the wine drops plummeting through the air, sense the collective breath holding as the trajectory was decided. The careful hand of the potter rendered moments of tense concentration, joyful triumph, and even rueful defeat. Observers became witnesses to silent dramas unfolding with every flick and fling, the art itself buzzing with energy, like the charged atmosphere of a festival. But kottabos was more than just a game of skill. It was a metaphor, a dance between control and chaos. Each toss held within it the weight of calculation, the meeting point of chance and dexterity. Through paint and pottery, these games spoke to the larger Greek philosophies of fate and fortune, the precarious balance evident in life and clay alike. The careful, practiced flick of wine-dregs became a smaller reflection of the larger gamble of life, each victor or vanquished hidden in the whims of fate. Beyond the literal, the painted narratives of kottabos reveal a rich commentary on the social constructs of ancient Greece. These symposia were stages where roles were played, hierarchies enacted, but also subtly questioned and occasionally upturned by the playful chaos of the throw. Challenging conventions, these gatherings illustrated who was allowed to recline on plush couches and who served wine, depicted with both the gravitas and irony of those knowing participants in life's larger stage. Hierarchies were marked with meticulous strokes, offering a veiled critique or quiet affirmation of the social status quo. The diversity in kottabos art illuminates this game's varied significance in Greek life. Different artistic interpretations, from simple scenes of wine and whimsy to grand depictions involving deities, speak to how kottabos transcended its role as mere leisure to symbolise broader cultural touchstones. Each piece was a reflection of the artist's perspective, an echo of the societal pulse, ranging from earnest depictions of human interaction to allegorical musings involving gods and men. Moreover, the techniques themselves, from the black figure precision to the red figure dynamism, reveal the potter's and painter's skill in capturing motion in a moment, expression in detail. These craftsmen were more than mere artisans. They were storytellers weaving scenes of symposia where laughter met law, where human and divine embarked on a shared, spirited endeavour. Through their hands, the pottery tells of palpable history where social norms and human folly merge in colourful chaos. Though time has marched on, the legacy of kottabos leaps from these ancient artefacts, reaching into the present with a poignant reminder of shared humanity. Today, as we peer into museum cases or pages of history books, we're struck by these relics of revelry. They awaken a curiosity for the whimsical, the wild and the wholly human, echoing through ages with tales of chance, skill and social jostling. The echoes of an ancient laugh at a well-flung cup, rich with the spirit of Greece's storied past. In the hallowed halls of Athens, where philosophers like Plato and Socrates discussed the nature of existence, one might imagine a solemn atmosphere, dense with the weight of profound concepts. Yet, the symposion, a blend of banquet and intellectual exchange, proved to be a lively amalgam of ideas, wine and an unexpected participant, the game of kottabos. Amid these gatherings, kottabos acted as a social bridge, easing the transition from intense philosophical debates to convivial relaxation. It allowed philosophers to showcase not only their intellectual mettle, but also their social charisma and dexterity. Picture a young philosopher, eager to impress, not only through argument but with a flick of his wrist. Plato's Symposium, a dialogue centred on love, transports us to an idealised drinking party, where the atmosphere ripe with laughter and conversation seems a fitting stage for kottabos, even if it is not explicitly mentioned. Within this setting, the game acted as a playful counterpoint to the erudite discussions. It was a stage where ideas were not just spoken, but subtly challenged and affirmed through actions. The symposion was not merely a place for the exchange of thoughts, but a crucible where friendships and philosophies alike were tempered. Imagine Socrates with his famously sly grin, deftly flicking the last drops of his wine while weaving a complex argument, the duality of leisure and seriousness encapsulating Greek ideals. Yet not all were enamoured. Plutarch, the Greek historian, was critical of kottabos, seeing it as a symbol of societal decadence. He feared it distracted from worthy pursuits and signalled moral decline. But even in his disdain, he inadvertently illustrated the game's social bonding aspect. For some, the trivial act of tossing wine-dregs was mere indulgence, but for others, it represented the unique capacity of the symposion to blend profound discourse with moments of levity. Despite Plutarch's critique, the game did not diminish the intellectual rigour of the gatherings. In fact, it added a dimension of challenge, requiring an adroit negotiation between debate and play. Laughter often erupted from a wayward toss or a triumphant clang, providing respite from weighty discussions and fostering camaraderie. The blend of competition and mirth created an atmosphere where philosophers could release tension, revealing humanity beneath their scholastic exteriors. In Socratic fashion, kottabos paralleled philosophical techniques, demanding players to analyse, adjust and learn from every toss, much like students in dialogue with their mentor. The physical act mirrored the second-order reflections they engaged in philosophically. Each flick became a lesson in precision and intuition, with a touch of fortune, a microcosmic reflection of life's unpredictability. Kottabos was not mere frivolity, it trained cognitive skills much like philosophical riddles. The focus required for a perfect toss sharpened observational abilities, just as grappling with a colleague's argument demanded cerebral dexterity. The game fostered insight, echoing the Greek belief that understanding was nurtured through practice, and each attempt at the toss mirrored an attempt to unravel philosophical puzzles. Philosophers marvelled at the dance between chaos and order inherent in kottabos, much like they considered grander themes of fate and free will. The randomness of a flick, balanced by skill, mirrored life's own uncertain nature. Control intertwined with chance in a moment that could tip either way, illustrating traditional Greek musings on agency and destiny. The kottabos toss became an allegory for the spirited encounter with life's unpredictability, a pure expression of the ever-balanced dance between chance and mastery. The symposion itself was a microcosm of Greek society, reflecting its social and philosophical dynamics. Within its confines, hierarchies were played out as leaders emerged, wielding influence as much from a well-placed toss as from a persuasive discourse. Here, philosophers rehearsed the art of public life, mirroring and shaping societal norms, and breaking boundaries within a safe harbour, preparing themselves for broader stages. The echoes of kottabos transcended Greek borders, influencing later traditions. Roman convivia and modern party games inherited its spirit, illustrating the game's lasting impact. Its essence, an interplay of skill, chance and camaraderie, transcended cultural and temporal boundaries, a testament to the enduring human penchant for games that tease the mind and forge connections. Kottabos was more than a party trick. It embodied a rich fabric of philosophical and social interplay. It was a rehearsal space for life's unpredictable theatre, mirroring the complexity of human endeavours. Over centuries, it has lingered as a reminder of the potency of play in shaping societal and intellectual growth. Its legacy speaks to the capability of seemingly trivial pursuits to unlock deeper connections and understandings, echoing the age-old wisdom that even in the loosest of games lies the potential for profound insight. As the world of classical Greece evolved, the once vibrant echoes of kottabos began to fade. During the Hellenistic era, marked by the expansive conquests of Alexander the Great, social customs shifted. The casual elegance and inebriated skill demanded by kottabos began to decline amid the changing dynamics of power and cultural integration. With new rulers came novel amusements that challenged the dominance of kottabos at Greek symposia. This decline wasn't sudden, but happened gradually as Greek territories came under the sway of Roman customs, which diluted local practices. Romans, partial to dice games aligned with their structured banquets, introduced a formality that overshadowed the leisurely nature of Greek gatherings. Where Greek symposia celebrated relaxed, elegant competition, Roman gatherings adhered to a more formal style, with debates and rhetoric flourishing over the flick of wine. As Roman influence spread, their formal convivia set new social norms. Roman banquets followed stricter guidelines, missing the leisurely charm of Greek symposia where kottabos thrived. Romans preferred dice games like Tali and Tessere, which offered gambling thrills befitting their competitive nature. This shift away from Greek elegance towards Roman strategies mirrored broader cultural transformations. Dice games became a staple, reflecting socio-political manoeuvres in Roman circles. Where kottabos celebrated personal flair and charm, Roman games valued the tactful interplay of fortune, resonating with their societal focus on hierarchy and dominance. Yet even as kottabos faded, Roman convivium retained its spirit, albeit transformed. While embracing Greek influence, Romans injected their penchant for spectacle, where games of skill still hinted at Greek ideals amidst the grandeur of Roman entertainment. Despite its decline, kottabos left its mark through art and literature. Greek pottery and art depicted scenes of symposia, where men engaged in the casual precision of wine flinging. These images preserved a festive snapshot of Greek customs, offering glimpses into a bygone era of social bonding and leisurely revelry. Artists immortalised the symposion as a space for wit, art and enjoyment. Meanwhile, literary references tacked kottabos to human experiences central to Greek life, with writers like Plato and Plutarch highlighting its link to philosophical inquiry and social entertainment. These cultural artefacts transcended mere historical records, asserting kottabos as a lifestyle of elegance and nuanced pleasures, a reminder of the balance between life's intellect and simpler enjoyments. The art and literature kept alive the ideals of Greek grace, rendering kottabos an enduring symbol of cultural identity, even as the practice faded. Interestingly, the legacy of kottabos echoes in modern Greek customs. Although the dregs flinging contest ended, the spirit of kottabos persists in contemporary games where skill and sociability thrive over drinks. The communal bonds formed over boisterous laughter and raising glasses retain the ancient spirit of the game. This continuity reinforces the timeless human penchant for blending playfulness with social dynamics, transcending epochs and cultural shifts. Modern Greek gatherings, centred around shared experiences and good cheer, carry forward the essence of the symposion, preserving the legacy of kottabos in a cultural continuum of convivial celebration. Beyond Greece, other ancient cultures celebrated similar merriments, illustrating that communal gaming was a universal pastime. Mediterranean societies embraced games with echoes of kottabos' mix of skill, irreverence, and bonding. Egyptian and Etruscan venues echoed with playful challenges amid their own feasting traditions, signalling a broad ancient appetite for mingling artistry with leisure. Such parallels highlight humanity's shared inclination for enjoyment and interaction across cultural boundaries, where festive play transcends time and region. Central to understanding kottabos is the symbolic significance of wine in Greek culture. More than just a drink, wine symbolised hospitality, harmony, and delight. In kottabos, wine was both a catalyst and a medium for ritual frivolity and fortune-telling. This blend of divine and earthly pleasures underscored the sacred element of the symposion, where reverent toasts mingled with playful games. Each flick of wine, a symbolic act, transformed a simple game into an event rich with cultural and spiritual significance. Through wine, kottabos became more than sport, embodying the intertwined social and cosmic values of Greek society. The decline of kottabos serves as a reminder of the ephemeral nature of customs. Once central to Greek life, its fading offers insights into cultural impermanence, showing even cherished traditions can sink into obscurity. This fleeting nature is not cause for despair, but reflection on the adaptability and fluidity of cultural practices. As kottabos faded, its legacy lived on, its essence lingering in values and ideas, echoed in future cultures. Embracing this narrative encourages appreciation of change, celebrating present customs, while recognising their eventual evolution amid history's relentless march. Kottabos thrived as a human connection. Beyond mere wine tossing, it symbolised shared experience, a canvas for laughter, storytelling, and intimate rivalry. The game highlighted essential social bonds, where winning mattered less than participation in a collective joy. As players engaged, they wove dynamics of humour and camaraderie that celebrated shared existence. Examining this social revelry offers insights into ancient Greek values of hospitality, cleverness, and symbolic revelry, a reflection of universal human needs for intimacy and shared laughter. In the end, kottabos endures for its embodiment of ancient sophistication and interaction, echoing human virtues that remain relevant today. More than an evening diversion, kottabos offered a window into a culture that prized balance, wit, and social play. In celebrating kottabos, we uncover parallels enriching contemporary culture, appreciating heritage, while maintaining lives enriched by social warmth and simplicity. Through laughter and wine's warmth, the enduring spirit of kottabos connects us to a tradition of joyful, timeless play. In the heart of ancient Greek symposiums amid laughter and music lay kottabos, a game that seemed unassuming yet spoke volumes about the culture of its time. It wasn't merely about tossing wine-dregs, it was an embodiment of Greek life's essence, where each flick of the wrist was a dance between control and chaos. These gatherings were an exercise in elegance, camaraderie, and a test of social manoeuvring, where each participant was poised to leave an impression. The Greeks, known for their love of competition and excellence, found in kottabos not just a pastime, but a metaphor for societal roles and personal achievements. Social success was a delicate balance of individual skill and the recognition of peers, mirrored in the game's subtle demands: grace, precision, and showmanship. Players flinging wine were not merely seeking to hit a target, but were engaged in a complex social dance, reinforcing the idea that every activity, from art to games, was an elaborate ritual, appreciating individual talent within a community framework. Kottabos was more than a test of skill. It was a window into Greek perceptions of play and ritual. These symposium games weren't trivialities, but significant societal rituals. Here, spirited competition met amiable socialization, each session a microcosm of life's balances, duty meshed with leisure, harmony with friendly rivalry. Participants enacted a delicate dance of fate and skill, reflecting the unpredictability the Greeks attributed to their divine beliefs. As players aimed and tossed their wine, they enacted a shared ritual, blending the gods' whims with their own efforts. The game's charm lay in its ability to merge competitive spirit with social bonding, allowing players to embody virtues cherished by Greek society. In a symposium, kottabos served as a levelling field across social hierarchies. Masters and servants, regardless of their status, participated as equals. The game invited a dissolution of barriers, echoing the ideals of the polis: cooperation and mutual respect. The elegance and simplicity of knocking a disc with a flick of the wrist captured the deeper purpose of Greek social gatherings. Artistic depictions of kottabos scenes on vases and walls tell a story of its cultural impact. These weren't merely decorative, but chronicled the vibrant social life of ancient Greece. The pottery capturing players in action not only served practical purposes, but froze these social symphonies in time. Amid laughter and anticipation, these artworks immortalise a moment in the tapestry of human interaction, preserving insights into style and societal norms. They depict the rich spectrum of emotions experienced during these gatherings, underscoring kottabos as more than an amusement, a critical social narrative. The philosophical undertones of kottabos echo Greek contemplations about life's unpredictability. Much like philosophical musings, the game mirrored broader reflections on fate and effort. Even as they pursued victory, players embodied the Greek concept of arete, excellence achieved through mind and body, a rehearsal for life's greater challenges. As the wine soared through the air, each slosh and clatter invited reflection on destiny's balance and the unpredictable dance between effort and fortune. Despite its fading from direct practice, the essence of kottabos lives on, resonating through modern echoes in social rituals and drinking games. Today's gatherings, whether pub games or college festivities, still capture its spirit, a blend of skill, chance, and social bonding. This continuity across ages bridges past and present, revealing humanity's enduring need for connection and shared joy. Though the tools have changed, from amphoras to beverage cans, the spirit of communal engagement remains vibrant, a tribute to the timeless power of play as a unifying force. Viewed through an anthropological lens, kottabos is a key to understanding ancient Greek values: social cohesion, artistic expression, and honour. Its mechanics reveal societal priorities, urging us to reflect on modern pastimes and how they mirror or diverge from those cherished Greek values. In revisiting kottabos, we uncover questions about our own social engagements, prompting a reflection on play's role in both ancient and contemporary human life. The cultural legacy of kottabos reaches into modern creative interpretations, featuring as themes in literature, film, and art. Its rich symbolism and historical depth continue to inspire creators, allowing them to weave timeless narratives that explore universal themes through an ancient lens. This ongoing fascination invites contemporary audiences to explore the sympathetic threads between ancient gatherings and present-day camaraderie, underscoring how a game of wine toss transcends time and continues to resonate with our collective human experience. Although kottabos as a physical practice may have declined, the symposium framework it thrived within still informs our social rituals today. Whether at dinner parties or academic conferences, these gatherings embody the essence of Greek symposiums as places of shared conversation and intellectual exchange. They echo the conviviality and understanding that defined their ancient counterparts, reminding us of the enduring nature of human connection through leisure. Kottabos therefore wasn't just a game, it was a reflection of Greek civilization itself, a society steeped in quests for elegance, skill and celebration. It offers a glimpse into a world where the divine and mortal intertwined with each wine splash and laughter. This game illustrates the duality of leisure and ritual, casting a vibrant image of life's joyful complexities. As a poignant cultural microcosm, it forever captures the Greek continuum of play and piety, urging us to embrace life's mix of structured discipline and spirited spontaneity. If you've enjoyed exploring how an ancient game illuminates the human story across eras, consider subscribing for more captivating dives into history.